Hey ladies, welcome to She Week. I'm so excited to be here to join you guys. I hope that you've been having an amazing week. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kim Wilson. I am a certified holistic health coach. And I'm so excited to share some information about nourishing your mind, your body, your spirit, your heart as we're building that amazing resilience in us. And we're building that powerhouse that we can just keep showing up and growing and excelling and sharing our goods with the universe and the world. So I'm going to share some tips with you guys today. If anything is unclear, if you have any questions, I welcome you to reach out to me. I'm going to share my contact information at the end of this video. I would love to connect, and if I can help you on your ladder of resilience and with your goals and living your most nourished life, please let me know. As a holistic health coach, I help to educate and empower women to live their most nourished life, getting to the root of what's going on, getting to the root of what's holding them back. And I'm going to start right now and share with you guys some tips that can help support you. So as you have probably seen, my topic for this week is Nourishing Roots for Resiliency. So as women, there's a lot of different things that we experience, whether as we're children, as we're, growing up in life, or as we're getting older. And sometimes we can get shaken, right? Sometimes, think about us when we're young and we're playing in the fields or in the streets, got to be home by the street lights on. Everything's just so exciting. You don't even know if you want to be home for dinner. And then life kind of hits us, right? It shakes our roots, and it can really play a lot in our beliefs, in how we feel, the relationships that we have, how we show up in the world. So, I encourage y'all to reflect on what has your growth journey looked like? Where have you been shaken? Where have your roots been shaken? But also know that roots, like the tree, are very strong. And what ends up happening is the wind shakes them around, but it builds those strong roots, right? And we have those roots within us. And speaking of roots, during this time that we're experiencing, this time is allowing us to get back to our roots. So whether it's gardening or whether it's looking at what we need to do inside, what can we slow down, simplify, and get back to some of the basics as we're learning, growing, healing, doing all of the things to better ourselves every day. So like I mentioned, like the trees in nature, we develop deeper and stronger roots from the wind. And so again, as we go through life, we're going to feel that resistance. We're going to experience that resistance. But it's the ways that we support ourselves, mind, body, spirit, heart, along the way that are going to help us grow even stronger roots. So one of the things that I'm going to be, spotlighting is these different words: healing, growth, healthy mind and body. It's all connected. I could go on even just talking about food and gut health and how the gut is connected to the brain. That's a whole other topic. So if you want to learn more about that, I encourage you to reach out to me because that's kind of my jam. So a nourished life will support healing, growth, and help sustain a healthy body and mind. And as I mentioned, our body is connected to our mind. Now, I know our mind is connected to our brain, and our brain is a part of our body. But what ends up happening is that we have these signals going all day long, and things in our body, from the foods that we eat to the environmental toxins that we're exposed to the products that we use, to the water we drink, to the air, all these things are feeding and nourishing us in different ways. And what's going on with the health of our body is connected to our mind. So a lot of times, one of the things that I specialize in is food sensitivities. And again, with gut health. So what ends up happening is when we're having inflammation, or when we're having a disrupted gut or things inside our body, it can actually create things like anxiety, stress, brain fog, all those different things. So there's a huge connection, and I really want to spotlight that as we're moving forward. So one of the things that I really encourage y'all to do, and especially during this time and with the weather that we're having, is working on grounding. And that can be different ways. So grounding is great for stress. It's great for energy work. We are full of energy. We're surrounded by energy. It's really important for us to be supporting our mind and our body through this time and moving forward as we are working on that strength, growing those roots, being resilient, being empowered, and showing up in our gifts and our passions and our purpose. So grounding is also called earthing, and it's a therapeutic technique that involves doing activities that ground us or electronically reconnect us to the earth. It's a practice that relies on earth science, and the physics explain how electrical charges from the earth can give positive effects to the body. For me, one of my favorite ways to ground is working in the garden. I love to get dirty, and dirt is our friend. So getting your hands in the dirt, getting your feet in the dirt, those are great grounding techniques. Hot Epsom salt baths. I sometimes use essential oils, but Epsom salt baths are a great way for grounding and doing that energy work. It's great for detoxification. So ladies, if you like the chocolate, this gives us an excuse. So dark chocolate and salt help us ground. Now, I don't know about you, but I really feel affected by the different energies of the full moons and when we go through universal shifts. So when I can feel change coming about, or I'm under a tremendous amount of stress, or there's transitioning going on, grounding is one of my best friends. And it's something that I practice regularly. And I'm going to touch on that in a little while when we talk about self-care. So when I work with clients or I speak to events like this, self-care is something that I stress. And I can tell you this because I have myself poured from an empty cup. And I was drained, depleted, exhausted. It's a huge part of my own health and wellness journey. It was definitely some times that I had challenge. But I will tell you, self-care is something that I learned the hard way, but it is something that is non-negotiable in my life now. So I often tell clients and people that I work with, think about it like the oxygen mask on the airplane, right? So we have to put ours on first. We have to pour into our cup first. It's not selfish. I know women especially, we tend to do all the things and put everybody first, but self-care is survival. So I want you guys to remember that. And if you ever need a good visual, think about the oxygen mask on the airplane, okay? And self-care can come in many forms. It can be grabbing a glass of wine with your girlfriend on a Zoom or in person. It can be, going on a walk in nature. It can be cooking up a nourishing meal and dancing with your kids in the kitchen. Whatever it looks like to you. And maybe reflect on that, like as you're growing and you're going through this transition and all the steps of life, think about what served me well in the past, what's not serving me well now, where can I make change, and what do I enjoy? Like, you can even reflect back to like your childhood, right? So if there's certain things that you like to do as a child, what are adult versions of that you can do now? And that I really encourage you to reflect on. Think about what areas of self-care you could be pouring into and penciling out time for them. Like schedule it like a meeting or a business transaction or a function that you would not break that promise for. So even if you got to pencil it into your schedule, I highly encourage you to work on that self-care. And you do what works for you. And it can be messy. It does not have to be perfect. It can be simple. It can be inexpensive. It can be free. There's so many things we can do, especially getting out into nature and different things like that. So yeah, definitely grounding is one of my biggest forms of stress management and self-care. So talking about stress wreaks havoc on the body. So I could talk to you guys about all the holistic things, but nutrition is very important. Stress management is crucial, and sleep is imperative. So I see entrepreneurs all the time saying, I'll sleep when I'm dead, or I'll sleep when blah, 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 blah. So here's the thing. If you're not well rested and working on stress management, you're not going to show up as the best version of yourself. You're going to drain yourself, and it's going to not help support you on that, ladder up that resilience tree. And I will tell you, like, trying to pour from a drained cup that's overtaxed and overstressed is very hard, and it'll age us very quickly, and it'll cause a lot of health concerns and problems. So if you really want to work on the anti-aging, the preventative ways to live your life, incorporating stress management and sleep are really important. So here are some things that we can look at if we're feeling extremely anxious, stressed, There's just like, we feel like we're spinning out of control. So let's talk about stop the stress right now. So the S stands for stop right now and get centered. Just do that breath work. If you guys need like tips for the breath work, let me know. But just get centered, just slow down and just breathe for a minute and say, okay, I'm going to reevaluate where I am and where things are, and I'm going to stop with the stress, and I'm going to work on how I can do that mind, body, spirit, heart approach to help support me. So just stop and just take a moment to reflect and slow down. So that's S. T, take a deep breath. I had mentioned breath work. I do breath work when I coach my academies and when I work with my clients. I do breath work on myself. I'll be in acupuncture and I'll work on breath work. So you really just want to inhale in your nose and then pause for a moment and just breathe. You can do a forced breath, you can do a slow breath, but doing the breathing, the slowing down and the breathing in and out several times, as long as you want. Yoga is a great way to work on breath work, all those different things. So just breathing, just sometimes putting your hand on your heart and your stomach, feeling the breath in, pause, breath out, and repeat that over and over again until your body is like signaling, okay, the stress is going away some, we're not in fight or flight as much anymore, and it's going to go to your brain and help relax you. So breath work, I really encourage if you're feeling stressed out or wanting to slow down and relax. It's a great way to work on your mind and body health. O is for observe. So observe what's going on in your body. Are you feeling like this? Are you stressed out? Are you tense? Is your heart beating really fast? Do you have a pit in your stomach? Do you feel like you can't breathe? All the things. Like really think about, what are my thoughts? What are my beliefs right now? How's my body responding to it? And what can I do to bring the levels down, to do that breath work? Where can I channel more positive energy and get rid of the negative energy? Or just roll your shoulders back. Sometimes I'll just do yoga or stretch, or just go for a walk, or just, read a book, or, find something that inspires me. So observe what's going on in your mind and your body, to how you're feeling, how your body's responding, and what's going on in your mind. And then P is proceed. What am I needing right now? What do I need in this present moment? Not what happened in my past that I keep reflecting and stressing about, not the uncertainty that's ahead that some of it I can't even control yet, because the universe works in really incredible ways. And I know that, I've had my own experiences where I've tried to control things, and that's where I've had to just stop, breathe, be present, and ask myself, what do I need right now? What is going to support me? What is going to nourish me? What is going to help me strengthen my roots and help me to grow into the even more empowered, resilient, amazing person that I strive to show up for each day? Because obviously the stress is not working. So you just want to stop, right? Get centered, take a deep breath, observe, and proceed. So I hope this helped you. If you want some more information on it or reflect on it, let me know. But my really big, thing that I often talk about is nourishment of primary and secondary foods. So as you are working on becoming the next version of yourself, or wanting to feel more confident or empowered or resilient or whatever it is, we look at these different approaches to health and well-being, but a lot of that fuel, a lot of that nourishment comes through our primary and secondary foods. Now, this may be a topic that you have not heard about before unless you've heard me coach or you've heard me speak, because unless you went through my nutrition school, people don't really know about this side of things. But I'll tell you, and I would love to dig in this deeper with you, so I welcome you to reach out. But there's two different kinds of foods that I'm going to talk about, and they go hand in hand. And these things are really going to help support you through your journey, through life, and help give you more perspective on different ways that you can nourish them. So there's something called primary foods and secondary foods. And when you think of foods, what do you think of, right? You think of fuel, you think of energy, you think of food, you think of the garden or the farm, you think of ways that you can recover while you're exercising, all those different things. So when we take a more holistic approach, which is what I do, I educate on holistic perspectives and tools and resources. So we're going to look at our primary and secondary foods. Our secondary food is what we eat. It's our vegetables, it's our proteins, it's our fats, it's our oils, it's our seeds, our nuts, all the food that we put into our body. Our primary foods are how we nourish and fulfill our life. So those are our spiritual connections. And I use the word spiritual to whatever works for you. Everybody has, their own perspective and views, and I totally respect that. So whether you want to say spirit, guide, universe, God, or you have a completely different belief, that's totally fine. I'm just, coaching from this perspective because I have seen more than not incredible success with women when they pour into their spiritual cup. So if you want to talk more about that, I welcome you to reach out. Spiritual connection is one of the categories. Love and relationships. So that can be love for yourself. That can be love for your spouse, love for your children, love for your community, love for your church. And the whole thing with, relationships, that could be with all the different categories. So they kind of go hand in hand in themselves. Career and finances. I know, especially for women, a lot of women don't like to talk about money. It's like kind of a trigger, or we're uncomfortable talking about it. And when you look at the career, are you feeling fulfilled in your career? Do you feel like your career, do you get out of bed in the morning and your feet hit the floor and you're so ready to take on the day and you're excited? Or do you think, I hate my job, I hate this commute, I don't like my boss, my coworkers are toxic? So what's going on in these different categories is really showing up and nurturing you and nourishing you and building this version of you in different ways. And then physical activity. And that could be anything from running to jogging to weight training to yoga to, whatever floats your boat, water sports, any kind of movement, and do what works for you and what supports your body. I have a back and a neck injury. I have to modify my workouts and watch what I, lift and how much and all those things. So what I end up finding, and discovering when working with women, is that, a lot of women come to me and they say, well, I want to lose weight. I want to feel better. I want to be more confident. I want to show up better for my kids. I hear that a lot. I want to have more energy for my kids. I want to feel more fulfilled in my job. Or they come to me and they're like, I don't even know what my purpose is. Or I don't even know what I'm supposed to be doing. My kids just went off to school and I was doing the homes. Well, not a lot of people are homeschooling right now, but doing a lot of the be a stay-at-home mom. And then they get to a certain point and they're like, I feel like I'm not fulfilled in different categories. So when I talk about primary foods, I encourage you all to look at the different categories and kind of reevaluate. And I have an exercise, if you guys want it, I can send it to you, to kind of evaluate, where do I feel like I'm being nourished in these categories, and where can I start pouring into it? And ladies, let me encourage you, don't, because I hear this all the time. When I have blank, then I will blank. We can pour into the different categories at the same time. And I'm going to give you an example in a second. And then our secondary foods, as I mentioned, is our fuel. So what ends up happening is, okay, how many times have we been through a breakup, or we're stressed at work, or we're lacking in confidence and we're overexhausted and we go drink wine or eat chocolate or hit the ice cream box, right? So when we start to nourish and support our primary foods, it's often how it's affected in our secondary foods, and they can go hand in hand. So when I work with people, I often say, how can you connect your foods? And let's reflect on some examples right now. So we can cook with our husband in the kitchen, listening to music, laughing, having fun. So we're nourishing relationships and we're nourishing our secondary foods. Taking your kids to the farmer's market, right? Building relationships, connecting to community, educating them, helping them to pick out foods. They can help pick out foods, asking the farmers how they cook things, taking them home, making them as a family together, right? Or, different things like career and foods. Like, what different ways can you maybe help your business work on a corporate wellness program? Or maybe, grabbing a coworker and going and having a healthy lunch out in nature. So just kind of getting creative. Like, I encourage you to get creative and have fun, because the universe moves fast when you're having fun. So I really encourage y'all to reflect and kind of list, where do I feel like I'm being nourished in my primary foods? Where do I feel like I'm being nourished in my secondary foods? Where can I make some changes, right? Where can I make some adjustments? So I really encourage you all to reflect on these different areas, because they really go hand in hand a lot. And again, if you want some more information on this, I really encourage y'all to reach out and connect. So, again, just reflecting on different tools, resources, and methods for supporting you on your path to an even greater resilience than you already are, to feeling more empowered, to feeling stronger, to feeling more confident. Just reflecting on what areas could you work on stress management? What areas could you add in more sleep? What areas can you add in more self-care? What about the different foods? I mean, I could talk to you. One of the things, like when it comes to me and nutrition, I stick to an anti-inflammatory plate, because inflammation is very hard on my body, and it messes with, the messages with my mind, and it, creates things like brain fog and exhaustion and irritability. So we really want to be eating more whole foods. We want to be eating things that are supporting our body. For me, I really focus on gut health. So things like bone broth, sauerkraut, kimchi, fermented foods are great for supporting your gut, which is connected to a lot of illness that we experience as we get older. It's also, food can help us with our stress levels too. Because when we feel more vibrant, when we feel more confident, when we have more energy, when we're well rested, then we can show up greater, right? When you love and nurture your body loves and nurtures you back. So as you reflect on the different things that I've talked about today, as you think about those different categories, think about, where can I pour into me more? Where can I carve out time for me? Where can I add in more self-care, whether it's grounding or connection or different forms of self-love, nourishing foods, doing different things that bring passion and joy. All these different things are going to help you to build a stronger version of yourself, those more solid roots. And then when the wind comes around and you get knocked around a little bit, you're going to feel more encouraged, empowered, more confident to show up even greater into that beautiful self that you already are. But if you're anything like me, I keep wanting to show up as better versions each day. So I have to sometimes do a self-check and say, what categories am I not nurturing? What categories am I not nourishing? Where do I need to pour into my health and well-being more, the mind, body, spirit, heart approach? And how can I show up as a greater version of myself? So with that being said, I hope this was, a little bit helpful for you all. I'm so excited to connect with you guys even more this week. So if you have any questions or concerns, or if you want more information on some of the things that I mentioned, or if you have just some things that you're going through yourself that you want to talk more privately about, I welcome you to reach out to me. So again, my name is Kim Wilson. I am a certified holistic health coach. I am here in Frederick, but I also work online virtually. So looks like I had a little bit of a color situation going on, but my website is currently being adjusted. My new website is www.farmgirlfuel.com. It'll redirect you to my old website, which is www.kimwilson.me, and then my email is kim@kimwilson.me. So I welcome you all to connect. I welcome you to reach out. I would love to hear what you have going on in your world. And I really encourage you guys to apply some of these things that I shared here today. Okay, I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me. I look forward to connecting soon. And you guys Have a wonderful day. Take care.